Welcome back to another live episode on the Near Post here. We promised we'd kind of bring slight bit of consistency over this like winter period or whatever. Like football kicking in, games every second, third day. So it's good to be back. Sunday Night Live, first one in a while. Before we start though, want to introduce our guest. Hasn't been on the channel yet, but very welcome to Northside London. Big Gooner fan, so don't know how happy he is about that recently, but how are you, lad? Thanks for coming on, first of all.
No, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. Annoyed at my club, as always. But yeah, I'm good, man. I'm here. I'm good, man. Had a good weekend. How you guys been?
No, I'm all good. Very good after our result yesterday. It just didn't look like it was going to happen. But it did. Felt like a big win. We'll get into that later in the show. But all good with you, Pete, as well. Like that, results like that kind of make your weekend. Certainly made mine. Anyway.
Yeah, I know we had a football game on yesterday. I came home just in time to get to watch that match, and just I was debating whether or not I'd go out or whatever, and then that goal went in, and just obviously buzzing then, so you have to get a few beers in. But that man, Divock Origi, we'll get into it later on, but just sets you up nicely for the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can kind of watch the rest of the game stress free. Yeah. Sorry, that's kind of how I see it. Now monster win, but kind of the first game I want to get into anyways is the first one of the weekend. I don't know if you didn't get to see Peter anyways. I'd say you've seen the highlights. Hammers Chelsea. I don't know if you've seen that north side. Good game actually. Seen the highlights. I'm sure you've seen the results anyways, but yeah. What did you make of that result first? So I'll go to you, Northside, first. Hammers taking the 3 points off Chelsea. What did you make of that?
The thing is with Chelsea, I know they've got some players out, but I mean, defensively, they've still been shaky. I know they haven't got all their fullbacks back, and that to me affects their game. But Tuchel's normally his side are defensively sound. You know what I mean? You don't expect them to be leaking 3 goals. I know the last goal was a wonder goal, but it's like, come on, man, you got to be doing better. But this West Ham team just never die. They just don't know when to die. Like Moyes is doing he's doing great with them. You know what I mean? And I'm really impressed what I'm seeing from West Ham, not only in Europe, but obviously in the Prem where your bread and butter is made. But defensively, they're still shaky. Jorginho now, another mistake again from Jorginho. I mean, he put it right against United. And to be honest, I actually gave him praise because, he messed up and let Sancho score on the last match. But then he stepped up for the penalty. And I said, you know what? He's got some balls. Like, he messed up. He's like, right, I'm going to take the penalty. I'm going to try and put it right. And he did. But then he's playing like Xhaka. That's Xhaka-esque. That pass back there, that is world-class Xhaka. Prime Xhaka at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why are you putting a keeper under that much pressure? Like, just hoof it out. And one thing I hate about this playing out the back, sometimes you just got to read the game and say, you know what, I just got to hoof it out. That nullifies the pressure. Sometimes when you're getting pressed, just hoof it up. Sometimes you just got to go through the safe. I know they're being coached to play out the back, and I get all of this. But sometimes you just got to assess it and say, look, it's just not worth it. He just put Mendy in so much pressure. I mean, Mendy, to be honest, I didn't know why he tried to control it and hit it. He should have just scuffed it. Just smack it up. Even if you smack it up into the air, your defenders then can get in position and they can, control the situation aerially, get control of the ball and then hoof it back. But he tried to take on the player by controlling it and then hoofing it up. And I was just like, Mendy, what are you doing? But he was put in that situation because of Jorginho.
Yeah,
and this is a man who's after coming third in the Ballon d'Or rankings. I might just add that one in, but
you bet me too that I was actually about to say that it's getting to his head or something. But Mendy still had a couple of chances just to hoof that out. Even when I think it was Bowen kind of nipped in, it wasn't like Bowen was going to score. He kind of could have just backed off. I know he probably panicked or whatever, but if he had backed off, Bowen still had a lot to do there. He was kind of going, and then the third goal. Like, that was the freakiest goal I've seen all season.
But it was a cross. That was a cross.
I don't know why they were even debating that in the BT studio. I think Rio again was kind of debating. We've said enough on Rio on this show. We won't get into him again. But I actually thought when he took the cross, I thought it hit the side net. And I was just like, there's no way he bet Mendy from there.
Yeah.
Even though he caught him off guard or whatever. Mendy has looked shaky. Look, let's be honest. Mendy has been quality since he signed for Chelsea. No one really kind of expected anything out of him. I actually never even heard of him before Chelsea signed him. I think they signed him for Rennes or something. Not for big money. He's come in. He's been 8 out of 10 most games. But even, I'm going back to the United game, was shaky there. Kind of got away with it with that Fred. I remember that Fred pass. Fred just passed it back to him. Then I watched a bit of the game against Watford. He was looking a bit shaky first few minutes. Couldn't have done anything bet the goal. It was kind of deflected or whatever. But I wouldn't. I see a lot of people like slating Mendy on Twitter or whatever. I kind of wouldn't make much of that. I think Peter. I think that's a bit like I think he was the best goalie in the world last year.
I think best goalie in the world's. He's
last
up there.
Year. I'm not saying he is the best, but he was the best last year, if that makes sense.
On form, he was definitely up there. Yeah. For me, like Mendy's he's a very good shot stopper and stuff. And I think slating him after one mistake. Remember, Alisson went through a terrible spell last year. Like that just happens with keepers. That's completely confidence thing as well. So it's not going to help with people getting on his back on Twitter and stuff. But he's a good keeper and he'll bounce back. I think. Like you talk about that there when he could have just hoofed it, and I think that's unnecessary pressure for him. I think he's always been a bit, overconfident with that and coming out for balls maybe I think when he shouldn't, and just being a bit risky. So I think he might learn a bit of a lesson there. But exactly, I don't know why Jorginho didn't hoof it, and I especially don't know why Mendy didn't hoof it. Like you said, they could just dealt with it early, but. I won't be getting us back too much. It was one bad game after giving you 100 good ones. So
exactly, like it's too reactionary. Like football fans have become too reactionary. Like no one is perfect. Every striker's not going to bang every opportunity. Goalkeepers make mistakes. I've seen Alisson make mistakes, but how many times does he do it? So you can forgive him. Do you know what I mean? It's like only if he was to become like a Kepa, then I'd understand it. Where it was mistake after mistake after, and it's the same ones, and he's not learning. Like this guy has been 9 out of 10. And he should have won the best goalkeeper instead of Donnarumma because he come to a Chelsea team where, like you guys said, we didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? And he's just been so commanding that we're like, Kepa who? Who cares? Like, do you know what I mean? He should have come for the price tag that Kepa came for, and he come for a fraction of the price. And people are jumping on him, But at the same time, I mean, I get it a little bit. This is why Chelsea have been so successful and why Arsenal haven't. Because they're very critical. Because they're very critical. Their standard is always there. And when you have your standard always there, the players know that you demand a lot or you're in a bench or you're not getting played. So criticism is fine, but we have to be fair about it. That's the first time I've seen Mendy ever make a mistake in a Chelsea shirt since I've watched him.
Yeah, like first few howlers, like keepers will make mistakes every game, but usually they won't get punished. Usually, like, you know what I mean? Usually they've got good players around or whatever. But on Chelsea, Peter, they're still your favourite from the title. I suppose it doesn't really make it. It's one game. It kind of be flip-flopping if you change. For me, it's still City. I've said if City had lost yesterday or whatever, yesterday, they'd still be my favourites. But Northside, who's your favourite?
Wait, you guys are Liverpool fans, yeah?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
You're not back in the thing? Nah.
No. I have to wait. Let me clarify it. I think we're genuine. I have City, Liverpool, Chelsea. I hate saying it, but I've seen us get 97 points and not win the title because of City. I just know what they are. I just think the squad wise will let us down in the end.
Yeah, but you think Chelsea are better than you, though? Okay, you don't see yourselves out doing
starting 11. No,
I think we've the best starting 11.
Yeah,
the better starting 11 than both teams. I think squad wise, though, we probably are lack. But then as we say that yesterday. Who comes on?
We big up Origi, and he's great for that. Like a goal against Wolves, a goal against Everton. Of course, we know about Barcelona and stuff, but if you're comparing, like we brought on Origi off the bench, who did Tuchel bring on off the bench? Lukaku. It's
Lukaku
levels.
Was bad yesterday. Yeah,
I know, but still, it's levels, and that's been the main issue with Liverpool. And until we get the necessary funding from FSG, it's going to remain the same.
We won't go into that. Look, it's been all positive recently for Liverpool. So, like,
as Ike says, win a couple games and they start coming live more often.
Yeah. To be fair, we started this channel during the 6 games lost streak in a row in Anfield. So, like, we've been through the tough times doing these live shows in bad moods, but obviously Arsenal aren't in that title race. But like, what's your opinion on it? It's obviously between the three teams, but who do you think? Who's your favorites right now, or who are your favorites from the start of the season? Northside.
It's kind of hard. Like, I don't really know who to really say is clear-cut favorites. Like, Man City don't have a striker. They have Grealish that hasn't really hit the floor running. They done it last season, but how many times have we seen teams win multiple leagues without an actual traditional striker? So that's still out for debate.
That's been my biggest issue.
And they did it in a season where your team was broken to bits. You didn't have most of your players. So, and now they've got Chelsea to contend to. Then you look at Liverpool, like you guys said, you are weak in the rotation. You haven't got, your rotation isn't as great as the other two teams, but when you put up your starting lineup, I think is as good, if not better than all of them. Then you look at Chelsea, they've got a manager that hasn't actually got his squad. He inherited this squad. While Arsenal fans are crying that Arteta needs his players to get anything out of this flipping team. This guy won a Champions League with 22, 23 players that are not even his.
They had a striker as well, really. They didn't really have a recognized striker last year. I don't really count for.
No, they didn't. They played Havertz there.
They didn't really play Tammy. Like, you can say Tammy, but like Tammy didn't. Tammy played all like the FA Cup games and stuff. So I don't even think we can say Tammy.
He's so great. He's playing for Roma. Got slapped up by Inter. Come on, man. Like, come on now. He's not levels, but
I don't know how they got.
You know what I mean? It's like Chelsea though. They haven't shown us this. This squad hasn't put together 40-odd games consistently in the league, winning at the rate that Liverpool and City do to show us that they can do it. But then you can't doubt them because they won the Champions League. But at the same time, that's knockout football. And knockout football doesn't always translate to the league. Yeah. You remember when you guys won the Champions League, you didn't win the league that year, nor the year after or the year after that. So it's hard to kind of, it's still out there. But for me, it has to be out of Liverpool and City because you have the experience and your players know how to grind out results. And that's why you guys grinded out a result. Like, you won your last match against Wolves. Those are the type of matches and results. Those 1-0s is what wins you the league. You're not always going to blitz teams. It's impossible. It's impossible. The great Arsenal teams, the great United teams, they didn't blitz. You guys in the 80s, you don't win every match 3-4-0. Sometimes it was a 1-0 or 2-1. And because you've got that grit about you, I see it going further. And Chelsea dropping, not even going away with a point against West Ham, that is why I can't see them in a title race for long. I don't think they're going to be up there, man.
To be fair, we lost 3-2 to West Ham as well. But the thing is, I've been watching. Obviously, I watch all the Liverpool games. I watch most of Chelsea's games. They can look really impressive at times, but they don't. They miss a lot of chances. They miss a lot of chances. Like United, they should have won. They missed sitters. I just think they're lacking. Like, obviously, Lukaku now is going to come in. He'll score some goals, but like Hudson-Odoi is a good player, but his finishing is very, very average. He needs 3 or 4 chances to score one.
That's character of that type of play. Like, I won't be too critical on that because I don't think Liverpool are overly clinical either. So I think that's kind of one of the faults that comes with that system, that you create enough chances that eventually some goes in.
I get that, and I know they're based. I know they conceded 3 yesterday, but like, their defense has been sick. I think they've conceded very little open play goals bar yesterday. Like, so I wouldn't like. I think people like ruling out Chelsea straight away is a myth. Like, Chelsea are right in there. Like, they're still, are they 1-2 points ahead of us or behind us now? They're okay. Yeah. I did go to a few City. I went to the City PSG game Northside. Got tickets for it, so I've been called a City fan recently. But
that wasn't the only City game. But
look, when the tickets are there, I like watching good football. I'm a football fan as well. If you can get to the game, City are probably one of the best teams to watch in the world. So I don't see anything wrong with watching them. But City did win 3-1 yesterday.
Yeah.
I watched most of this. I watched the highlights of match today. It could have been 7, 8, 9. Grealish missed a few sitters, but again, I bigged them up 2 weeks ago.
Bernardo.
Bernardo. It's not even about the
My
goals.
boy, you know, my
Yeah.
Portuguese, like, you get me? My brother, you see him, yeah?
Portuguese, are you?
Jeez.
Come on. Yeah. Well, like the floor is yours for Bernardo because I don't even care about the goals for him. I've seen him play live twice, been the best player on the pitch twice. And he was supposed to leave. I think he was supposed to go to Atletico during the summer. I think there weren't even rumors. There was actually concrete enough. He was nearly going to go, but City are glad they kept him. Like, what do you make of him? I just think he's a lovely footballer. Can play anywhere.
Yeah. World class. Consistent. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's consistent for City. He's consistent for Portugal. He's world class. He's kind of what you need Jota to be. At the moment, I don't see Jota being as consistent. I think he's got the potential, and I think obviously, you know, he hasn't been with Liverpool for long enough. But Bernardo is just complete, man. He can assist, he can score, he brings people into the game. His scoring now has got even better. I've actually feel like in the last 2 seasons he's gotten better at scoring, and I just think he's a complete player. You know, like you got players like Bruno Fernandes where they're actually not really involved in the match that well, but they'll score the odd goal or something. But their overall gameplay is actually not that great. He's not very controlling or dictating play, where Bernardo is. And I remember when, who was that midfielder that was at City? David Silva. You remember when David Silva when people always said, could Bernardo become the new David Silva? You can see he can do it, man.
Yeah.
He can play. He can play on the wing. He can do anything you want him to do.
He works like a dog as well. It's not even that because not that it really matters, but I remember seeing the year two, like he was clocking a 14, 15K a game. So like you've got a player there with all the technical quality, but he works.
He can play anywhere from 6 up.
He works really hard. Yeah, exactly. He works really, really hard, and he has a bit of bite in him. Like he kind of, you know what I mean? He's small and all that in stature, but I even remember he didn't clap. Remember the Guard of Honor? He was the only City player not to clap Liverpool. As much as it pissed me off, I kind of rated that. Like if Robertson did that for us or something, I'd kind of rate it. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's an opposition thing, so it pissed me off. But he has that bit about him. You know what I mean?
He cares, isn't it?
He cares, yeah. He's a quality footballer. City are a quality team. It was just kind of a routine win for them. They always spank Watford, but
unlike another Manchester club. But
yeah, exactly. Speaking of that Manchester club, they did get a win today. I actually didn't see the game, but what have you made of like United as a whole recently? I know Solskjaer gone. Unfortunately, we used to love the Solskjaer slander on this page, but United as a whole now with that Ragnick appointment, what do you make of it? Like for me, they'll make top 4 this season easily now with the squad they have. It should be kind of a given with the squad they have. But what's your kind of opinion on Ronaldo, Ragnick, and all that, all the kind of stuff that that's made about United?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
My bad.
With Ragnick, we don't know. He's like a Bielsa. Like, do you remember when people were overhyping Bielsa when he came? He's pressing. He plays high intensive football and stuff like that. Look at him now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Ragnick will be, but the jury's out. In this league, this is the hardest league in the world. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm sure United fans will be hoping that he's not a Bielsa. But we've seen these type of managers that come and they press high and high intensity. That's what we're hearing from him. If he's so great, why didn't he ever win anything really as a manager? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know he's just stepping in, and I understand that. Once they get the right, obviously they haven't got the right appointment. But it's like it's too little, too late. Man United are run the same way as Arsenal. They're proactive. They're reactive instead of proactive. They've had Ole in there, yeah. Ole was never the guy. They could have got Conte. They could have got Ancelotti. They could have got who else?
Conte. Oh, you said Conte, but Zidane. I don't know if Zidane wanted to go, but like if they really threw the money at Zidane and just sold him a dream, he would have came. I think. Listen,
when Conte's going to Tottenham Hotspur, that none of us have ever seen them win anything of note, you already know if your club matches that manager's ambition, he will win. And he's already done it here. He went to Inter Milan, got given the platform, beat Juventus, you know what I mean? Stop their dominance there. So the guy's a proven winner. Why do you keep Ole, somebody that hasn't done anything? Why would you keep him in place if you're about winning? Did Chelsea hesitate when the Lampard project wasn't going right? They cut the umbilical cord at the right time. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal and Man United, It's all about PR. It's not about winning anymore. It's not about getting the best manager, the best players. When Fergie was here, the only reason Fergie lasted is because he was a winner. And he would go and get the best players and go into key flipping. He knows exactly who to buy. He doesn't go back. He wouldn't jump at Ronaldo just because Ronaldo's there. If he doesn't fit the system, he ain't going for him. Do you know what I mean? There's no plan there. It's all about PR. That's my view on Man United. I think getting this guy in, I think they may be moving towards the right situation. But why didn't they? It was already going bad for Ole 3-4 games ago before he got fired.
It was going bad 2 years ago. Let's be honest.
Well, this is it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys, like, let's just keep it real. Like, we've seen Newcastle change manager, Aston Villa change manager. Who else changed manager this
Norwich.
season?
Watford.
Norwich. They got more ambition than Arsenal and Man United. They saw things was going wrong. They cut it. They didn't start saying we need a process and he needs players in. Look at flipping Gerrard getting results out of Aston Villa. Those are not his players. The excuses that some Man United fans and some Arsenal fans make, it doesn't correlate, because you're saying for our manager, for Ole, he needed players. For Arteta, he needs players. So what about Gerrard? You know what I mean? He's turning it around. What about the new Newcastle manager? He's turning it around. They won the other day, and he's got none of his own players. You know, you got a coach in this. You got a coach, but there's too many excuses and there's too many people that got sentiment. And luckily for Man United, it looks like they may be turning a corner. Well, Arsenal's the same crap with this PR BS with somebody just because you're sitting next to a manager that was great. How many ex-managers were sitting next to Alex Ferguson? How many of them became world-class? And he's the best manager this league's ever seen.
Yeah, Steve McLaren is the one that comes to mind. All I think of when I hear Steve McLaren is, I think he was in Holland or something. He put on the Dutch accent. He was doing an interview. That's literally all I think of with Steve McLaren as a manager. He was dirt. Dirt. So, yeah, no, you're dead right with that, like kind of old player or old coach thing. But like Peter, we've kind of been saying for personally, we don't really care because we're Liverpool fans. But like, I don't mind seeing Arsenal do well. I kind of like, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd take this as an insult. Like, I just don't see it as a threat. So if you do well, I don't care. Like, see if I see City or Chelsea or even United, just because they're a big rival, if they do well, it kind of, I wouldn't want them to do well, but like, I'd actively hope Arsenal do well, if that makes sense.
I can't agree with that one, but
yeah, that's fair enough.
I just want to hop in about the PR point about United and Arsenal. But the thing is, these guys are so good at PR that they've brainwashed half the community into thinking whatever their decision's right. Like, how many Arsenal fans have you heard going on about the process and different things with Arteta, and numerous then United fans who were trying to back Ole for so long until it got to the point where you literally couldn't anymore. And I've already seen that now. Like, people were bigging up Carrick and stuff. You know, after Ole got sacked, as if Carrick wasn't the same guy trained these guys for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
As if it wasn't Carrick and Phelan. I can't remember the other lad on the training ground with these. McKenna on the training ground with these for the last couple of years. So that, like, he didn't change system, he didn't change tactics. They're playing the exact same ball they were playing the last couple of months. Same as in under Ole. You're going to win a few good games if you have Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo, Rashford. If you have all these players, you're going to get some results. So I think it's unbelievable how reactionary the fans have got, especially, I think, for the United fan base. I think the appointment of Ragnick, like you said, it's good. It's definitely, you know, if you're a United fan, you're going to be happy. It is a step in the right direction. I think he'll produce more, though, off the pitch than he will on the pitch as a manager. I think that deal is more of a background thing, but it's just enough to see them over the line. But if they did have any real ambition and it wasn't a PR, you would have seen them pick up Conte when that happened. You know what I mean? You seen when Ronaldo was questionable about Golden City, they snapped on that straight away, and that wasn't because they were getting serious about the league. It's because they were getting serious about the jersey sales.
Yeah, facts.
If Conte could sell jerseys, he probably would have brought in.
We said it at the time, and it pissed off United fans. I still think the only reason they signed Ronaldo is because City were kind of in for him.
Completely.
I think City rejected him, to be honest. I honestly don't think Guardiola wanted him. I as much as Ronaldo would score plenty of goals with City, I think the City, I've always said with that City striker thing, I think they play better without an out-and-out striker. with like I just love how fluid they are. Jesus, Mahrez, Grealish, Bernardo,
But we haven't seen
Sterling.
this team with a striker, and you can't really argue Guerrero because the
No,
last
I
two,
agree.
3 years has been hit or miss. So
Aguero only played what 5-6 games
yeah,
really he only started playing near the end of that season. But I always think City play better without the striker. I think they score plenty of goals, they defend well, but that's just me. I don't think Ronaldo would have suited him. He still would have scored like 20, 25 goals.
but
But
it's the
like,
same way he's going to do that at United. Like he's going to score the goals regardless. But would it be as optimal as getting in? I know the obvious choice is Harry Kane, but anything
yeah,
similar
Gary
to that.
Neville's man, the
Yeah,
excuse.
let's be real. Like that was a complete PR stunt, and
Yeah,
that's the sad truth about some of these big clubs. And we've seen FSG start to do the odd PR stunt now when it came into money saving, especially and like, dude, and it's ruining football, to be honest. But I, as much as I hate to see United get a good decision, it is a half okay sign to see them getting Ragnick. But
nah,
I'm just waiting for this bollocks to start with him now.
yeah, it's a football man. Like they've had Ed Woodward, and I don't know what the other lads are. I think they're like bankers and stuff behind the scenes, but it is what it is. They got a good win today, 1-0. Fred with the goal. Um, I will talk about Liverpool now. Like what just was watching that game on a dodgy stream. Would you believe that on that Premier Sports they showed Newcastle and Burnley instead of the Liverpool Wolves game? I couldn't believe it. Like I was raging, so I had to go on the laptop dodgy stream. It was 5 minutes behind, so I wasn't looking at my phone. But my dad was downstairs. He was watching Gillette Soccer Saturday, and I heard a big roar, and like the goal hadn't happened yet. Obviously, it was only in the 92nd minute or whatever. I sprinted down, and it just said, I just seen the Origi thing on the bottom of the Gillette thing. Paul Merson go man in the studio. Like so watched the game. Like people saying Wolves should have got something for me. I don't think they showed kind
You
of
ran
any
the
attack.
show.
Yeah, like we missed 3 sitters. On another day, it could have been 3 or 4-0. It's not like we didn't make chances yesterday or whatever. It's just we didn't take them. Like I don't know if you've seen that miss by Jota Northside, but like probably miss of the season. Connor
That's why
Cody
I said
took
that
one
about
right.
him.
Yeah,
He's hot and cold. He needs to become consistent. There's a player in there, but he's hot and cold. But I think you'll get it out of him. Trust me, he's got the ability, man. He's got the ability. Give him another season or so under your manager. He'll be world class.
yeah. Especially,
But I said that to you midweek about Jota. We all remember that goal midweek that was outrageous against Everton. And then he comes in here and he misses a shot like that. And I've seen this happen the last 20 times minimum in Liverpool jersey. And that's why I wouldn't be too critical when you were talking about Chelsea and stuff, because I know it's in some VAR players. But I think Jota, if he gets sorted now, he gets back on it. What was it? How many goals did he score last month in the Prem? 3?
3 or 4. He has 7 this season. I still think Jota's been quality for us as a
Well,
signing.
we're going to need him now. When's AFCON start? Early?
Yeah,
Is that mid-January?
yeah. It's coming up. It's coming up. I think Firmino will be back for that. I think since Jota's come, he's been a quality sign. He's kind of over because no one was really looking at Jota. People forget when Jota was at Wolves, he wasn't actually an out and out starter.
No.
He would. It wasn't like their main man. It was Jimenez. It was Pedro Neto, who also I'm a massive fan of. I'd love if we signed him in the future, but he wasn't like. It's not like we went to Wolves and took their main man. You know, like when Annie was at Southampton, he was their main man. Like it was kind of more of an obvious sign. I don't think Jota was an obvious sign at all. So
there was a few questions thrown actually.
no, there was, especially when we were linked with Werner, and we thought, we see Chelsea got Werner, who was like kind of the go-to man that summer. I remember Werner.
Yeah.
I'll say it myself. I was mad to get Timo Werner. That was my number one signing that summer. But we've kind of seen how that's gone.
Me and you were still butthurt like 3-4 months into the season over that, even when he was performing a few bad games.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I think we can safely say now, though, Werner's been, I wouldn't say an out-and-out flop, but he's been poor.
It was a blessing in disguise.
It was a blessing in disguise, let's be honest. But yeah, that game felt like a game there. If we do win the title, it's like the Aston Villa game 2 years ago when we were 1-0 down 5 minutes ago. Robertson, I know we only scored 1 goal, but like nice one. But It felt like kind of one of them titles. You know, when you look at the Northside, you look at the manager, you look at the kind of staff. They went absolute ballistic on the sideline. It just felt like I wouldn't say we stole one because I actually thought we played okay, but we didn't drop the 2 points that we should have. But looking ahead to there's a bit of Monday Night Football on tomorrow. Obviously, everything and the Gooners. First of all, actually, we'll talk about that United game briefly. Northside, I watched. I thought you deserved a draw. I thought it was an entertaining game for a neutral, but I thought the quality was poor from both sides.
Yeah, it really pissed me off because I know too many people that are United fans and they're being all smug, shouting out Sue. I told them anytime I want to hear Sue is when Ronaldo's scoring for Portugal. That is it. Otherwise, I don't want to hear no Sue. Do you know what I'm saying? I was pissed off. Yeah, that is our rivals. Before you guys, when you lot were on your drought, it was always between Arsenal and Man United. When I grew up, Liverpool weren't doing nothing. And no disrespect, you're a bigger club than us. You've got more. But when I grew up, you weren't. And I've seen you overpass us again. Do you know what I'm saying? And what annoys me was we actually started that match well. We were first 10 minutes. Smith Rowe was excellent. I thought Smith Rowe and Martinelli were both of them man of the match. I can't really decide between either of them. I went for Martinelli.
Martinelli was quality.
Yeah, I went for him because he doesn't get enough props. Like Smith Rowe gets loads of props in our team. So does Saka, but he doesn't. He always gets treated like he's a bum. And really, he's always been performing. He even performed under Unai Emery. But we started well and we actually took the game because all this season we've been sitting back. Even when we played you lot, sitting back, trying to soak pressure. But then after that, after Smith Rowe scored, it was like we were trying to shut up shop for the rest of the game. And I was like, we couldn't shut up shop against Brentford, first match of the season, and they were attacking us. United are now attacking us. We couldn't do that against Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why we now think that we can keep United, who love to counter-attack, and they have multiple individuals that can win a match. Why would you do that at that point in the match? Go for a second. Because even in the Premier League, even a second goal isn't comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And it's like at 1-0, you're trying to do that. And then they score. And then we try to get, okay, cool. We try to get another one. We go behind 2-1. And then when it goes 2-2, I'm thinking, right, now is the time. This is Old Trafford. The match is already, you've tried to sit back and it's, worked against us. Now sit back. Nah, this guy's trying to open up at 2-2. And I was just like, the defending was poor. Ben White, rubbish. You know what I mean? He thinks he's, I don't know, this guy's dead.
Mad overrated for me.
Well overrated, but typical. British players are always overrated. Look at Maguire. Do you know what I mean? Some are worth it, and most of them are overhyped.
Yeah. And
then flipping Tavares had a shocker. Thomas Partey's been so dead. He's not had one man of the match since he's been here, and he stays on for 90 minutes. Smith Rowe gets taken off, and he was like man of the match up there with Martinelli. You know what I mean? And it's like Martinelli's only getting played because Saka's injured. Partey can drop stinker after stinker. He can play. El Nene, that the fan base disrespect, actually played well and had to do the job of Partey. Aubameyang, I don't know why he's starting. He's been awful the whole season, and Lacazette don't start. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you're telling Martinelli to earn his place. We put Nketiah.
He is useless. Useless.
But no, I think when it comes to Arteta, like the inexperience is unreal. And when he comes, we've seen in the big games, he tries so hard not to make a mistake, or not even to make a mistake, but not to be criticised. So he puts out, the highest rated team on FIFA nearly. He thinks he has to play Aubameyang because he's the top guy in games where he does nothing. Like talk about Partey, to be honest, since he came to Arsenal, I haven't been a massive fan. I think he gets massively overhyped. Anytime he's a half decent performance, he's bigged up as if he's been N'Golo Kante. Like Ramsdale, the last month or two has kind of saved Arsenal multiple times. So I can't understand why.
But Partey hasn't been good because he got injured.
No.
He didn't have an injury record. He comes to Arsenal.
Yeah, that's madness.
He shoves him back onto the flipping pitch, and then he aggravates the injury even more. Saka plays games for England as an international, comes back to Arsenal, is playing week in, week out. You lot have got youngsters coming through. I've said this on my channel. You got youngsters coming through, yeah? You rotate your team. It's not like we ain't got Pepe on the bench. It's not like Martinelli's there not getting a game. Last season, the player that we had doing most contribution to goals and assists was flipping Pepe. The reason we even got to a Europa League final was because of Pepe. Yeah, he can't get a game in the Premier League. We paid over 80 mil. We paid almost 80 mil for this guy. You're telling me he can't get into the team?
When I seen, I actually Nketiah, like for me, Nketiah's championship level. People forget when Nketiah was at Leeds, he couldn't get a game at Leeds, and Arsenal brought him back. It's kind of a madness to me. He's dirt. I think Partey, even when he came from Atletico, like I've seen, I would only seen him in Champions League games. He was good, like he was decent with Atletico, but I think he was overhyped even when he was at Atletico. I remember people bigging up his performance when they knocked us out in the Champions League. Like I don't even remember him that night. Like it was kind of that night we kind of battered them, and Oblak had a really good game. But Thomas, it's kind of a lot with Arsenal signings when a big name comes. You know, like I remember when
the pressure to start him.
The party songs were on and stuff. Like Arsenal did a dance for a center midfielder from Atletico Madrid. It wasn't even like it was like a big forward name, like even like an Ozil when they signed Ozil. He was a well bigger name, you know what I mean, after the World Cup in Real Madrid or whatever. But like your midfield, I'm looking at your midfield. Partey, he's okay, but he's not overrated. Granit Xhaka is dirt. And then he's bang average at best, let's be honest. He works hard and stuff, but for me, like that shouldn't. For me, if you first thing you say to describe a player, he works really hard, that kind of tells me he's crap on the ball. If you're talking about professional players, let's be honest, they should all be fit and be able to work hard. I think your attack, like I think Aubameyang's just the next Ozil. As soon as he got that 350k a week, like if Aubameyang doesn't score, he basically contributes nothing. He has no hold of play. His first touch isn't great. He's not going to bully a striker or a defender. Let's be honest.
And you're a Liverpool fan, and you just said that, yeah? We had a press conference with this clown of a manager, yeah, saying that we miss Xhaka. Do we? The player, since he's signed in the Premier League, has made the most errors leading to goal. Mistakes like what Jorginho does, he used to do week in, week out. Then you've just said about flipping Aubameyang, and they asked him, well, why is he not scoring goals? And he said, he's doing everything else I'm asking him to do. Well, I'm sorry, this guy doesn't know how to.
Is that?
Or he's not good at creating space for other players like Firmino, like Lacazette. That's one thing Lacazette is actually good at.
Yeah,
he's only elite in the box. So why don't you get him in the flipping box instead of telling him to flip and defend? Yeah, because how's he gonna? He can't pick the ball. Odegaard doesn't do anything for him. Our fullbacks, unlike your fullbacks, don't get forward and cross the ball into him. Odegaard doesn't create anything. Partey flipping skies the ball. Every time he got a chance to shoot, he's shooting. Like, I don't know who this guy thinks he's Beckham or something.
Yeah, he loves the long shot, Partey.
Bro, and then Lokonga's just come in. So where's Aubameyang's service? If you know that he plays like Vardy, and to be honest, I think Vardy's faster than him. Aubameyang's lost his pace.
Yeah.
Keep him in the box and keep giving him service. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at West Ham. They play to Antonio. Everybody feeds him. When you've got a striker that's great at something, you exploit what they're good at.
Play to
you
their
don't
strength.
tell them to do running back, tracking back. Get everybody else to flip and do that. But this manager's scared of opening up. And you're a Liverpool fan and you can see this. This is why I get so pissed off. I had enough, bro. Like, my club has been run like clowns, bro. And Arsenal fans lap this up and they think it's okay. And I'm like, yo, where's your standards, bro? Where's your standards? Yeah. How can you boast, that, who are Tottenham? But then you're happy with mediocrity. Because how long have we not won a league? So we're going to keep talking about the past.
04, is it? It's 04.
Exactly.
That was the Invincibles, wasn't it? If I'm not wrong.
So we the fan base, love to gloat about our glory days, but then they never put pressure on the team to get back to those glory days.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's always even.
We've done it
never
now.
get like,
that's it.
It's yours gold. It's yours gold. Who cares, bro? It's worth the same thing. Who cares?
Yeah, Arsenal fans. One thing I would say, I find it humorous when they lose because a lot of their fans are deluded because. Like I remember we lost 3 or 4-0 to Watford. We already had won the title, but like it better like it meant we weren't undefeated or whatever. Well, the thing I don't get on the Invincible thing is we got more points when we didn't win the league. City got more points.
Well, there's been more points.
Chelsea got more points the next season. That like the undefeated thing is class, but I think it's madly overrated. Like obviously it was an absolute quality team, but I've even heard. My granddad used to say, or like a load of Arsenal fans used to say, like it wasn't even Arsenal's best team, the Invincibles.
No,
it wasn't. We had a team before that. I think it was I think it's the team of '98. They almost went unbeaten when we won the league that year. So they were, I think they were one or two matches away from being invincible. Like, who cares, bro? Like, if it's gold or not, yeah,
A
like,
title's a
cool, I
title.
like it, but who cares? It still counts as one league, just like when you lot won the league a few seasons ago. Like, it doesn't make any difference. Like, who really cares? Have we won a Champions League? Have we even won we won a Cup Winners' Cup, and that's it. And we don't even have that no more. How long has that been extinct for? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, Arsenal fans, yeah, we need to, if they put the same energy into actually holding this team accountable, then we'll get somewhere. In sport in Lisbon, yeah, they were losing the league. They didn't win the league almost as long as you lot did your drought, yeah. They stormed the flipping training center. They won the league the next season.
I have to say that was the year Bruno Fernandes left. So a little dig at Man United fans. How many mess? But you know,
it is what it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Marseille, I think they were trying to take them for some idiots as well. They stormed up. The club now knows.
I remember that. I remember seeing the clips of the Marseille fans. Them French fans in general take no bullshit. Like even them PSG fans, I think they were booing. Like they'll boo you. No, they don't care who you are. They'll boo you if you don't think you're good. Which like Real Madrid fans are like that as well. There's kind of a fine balance, but like the thing is, yous play Everton tomorrow. If yous win, like let's be honest, Peter, we watched like Everton are a poor side. They're missing their best player, Calvert-Lewin. Like if Benitez loses this game, he's more than likely sacked or getting very close to being sacked, anyways. But like if yous win this game, I guarantee a lot of Arsenal fans will be saying we're back in this top. Like for me, Arsenal won't make top. Like you know what I mean? Like you'll hype it up more than
Arteta outside in the mud. It's all about little points. It's like, who cares, bro? Like, how can you be bashing a guy when things is like, keep to what you believe in, innit? Like, if you really want to back him, then back him with your whole chest, innit? But if you don't, and you can see the bigger picture that we were actually poor against Burnley, against Norwich. We haven't actually been, there's not been one performance by Arsenal that had been great, 90 minutes. It's been moments of brilliance. We beat Newcastle, we were atrocious. Martinelli, moment of brilliance, and Saka, moment of brilliance. If you watch that match, we didn't play well. We didn't play well. Against you lot, we didn't play well. We tried to match you, and then we capitulate. Because every time we open up, people say, Arsenal are great defensively. No. The United match shows you, when we come out to play, they'll always nick a goal because we open up. We're defensively, the way we're structured is naive. We can't defend. So it's okay when you got two banks of four sitting back. Everyone, even a Aubameyang flipping sitting back, you know, so deep he can't even get a goal. Yeah, it's great to say that it's to the detriment of our attack. There's no. I said this the other day on League Gunner channel. I said, listen, like how many young ex-players, become great managers, like that are young and inexperienced? Pep Guardiola. How many else become world class?
I think Guardiola was just like a freak thing. I think it's like with Fergie. I know I'm
Why
not
do
saying
we think this guy's gonna be it?
Yeah, I just think that was like it was one of them, like it'll happen once every 20 years, 15, you know what I mean? Like someone will just be a world class manager. But like you're saying about Arsenal, they're defensively, they're good. I don't think he's there because we've been seeing Ramsdale making worldy saves after worldy saves. If he were so good defensively, he wouldn't have to make these saves. I said it's like De Gea. Remember with De Gea with United, he won Player of the Year like a few seasons in a row, I think.
That's terrible. United. If your goalkeepers win Player of the Year.
Yeah. Like,
and you're not in the bottom five.
You don't want that.
You can't keep that up.
You don't even really want to be talking about your goalkeeper, to be honest, unless they make the like say with Alisson, we know his quality and stuff. Even Ederson, top keeper, but no one really ever talks about him unless he kind of gives like a world class pass or stuff, because you don't really want to be talking about your goalkeeper if you're kind of going for the top honors, if that makes sense. Because it's kind of it shouldn't be your best player. That's the thing about Ramsdale. Saying that, I do think he'll beat Everton tomorrow. I just think Everton are so bad. They're kind of. I think he could sack Rafa. I don't think he'll hammer them. I think he should win maybe 2-1. Like, are you confident for tomorrow? I know it's hard to be confident as an Arsenal fan these days, but I do think he'll edge that tomorrow.
These days, since 2005, bro. I'm telling you, like, listen, like, you know what, man? Like you just said, this is why I'm so harsh on this manager and I don't believe in him, because Aston Villa got a new manager, they got a style of play, flipping Newcastle, I've now got a style of play. All these managers got style of play. Tuchel hasn't even been at Chelsea for a year yet, and they've got established style of play. Tottenham won today with Conte. He ain't even been there more than 2 months, and they got a style of play. Arteta's been here. He's got us 8th and 8th. We don't have a style of play. We can't break teams down. We play like this guy is like the flipping Spanish Fernando Santos for Portugal, that he's got attacking players and he's telling them to flipping sit back and hopefully our version of Ronaldo flipping Aubameyang will save us, or somebody individual brilliance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not sustainable, bro. Like, what is going on here? And he's been here longer, and I've just given you multiple examples of managers that get more. Flipping Brentford has come up, they got a style of play. Leeds got a style of play. Flipping who else? Do you know what I mean? And it's like so many examples. Do you know what I mean?
Spent big money too, Arteta.
And
Arsenal
Arteta's a
spent
clown,
big money.
bro. Like, we will beat Everton, and I'll tell you why. They won't come in, they won't press us. If you don't press Arsenal, if you sit back and try to keep it like you try and nick a 1-0 against us, we got enough players in this team to nick a goal or nick 2. Yeah, and it will look like we're all great again. But for the overall match, if you watch the match, you'll see that we're dead. If you come here like Liverpool, like City, like Brentford, we will get opened up. If you sit back, we'll open you up. Do you know what I mean? Or we'll if you come in, you attack us. That's what I'm trying to say. If you come here like City, like Brentford and all that, and you actually press us, we'll crack. And now we've cracked also against Man United. The big test to see if this team went anywhere was against Liverpool, and it was against Man United. We failed both of them.
And it's a poor, let's be honest, it wasn't like it was a good Man United team. It was still a Carrick Man United. It's still a poor side race. Like, United weren't great anyways that game. So it wasn't like it was a massive
They had a substitute teacher of a manager in, and we still couldn't beat them. They had no style of play. They had no guidance. You might as well not been there. You might as well be a hologram. Like that time Tupac was a hologram doing a flipping event. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And we still can't beat them.
Facts.
We have no ambition. Arsenal have no ambition. And that's why I keep saying this, because the fan base needs to wake up. This club is about selling shirts. I'm sick of seeing merchandise. What about win something? You know what I mean? What about going for the best manager, the best players? What about not going for Xhaka and going for a Kante, scouting players properly? Instead of going for Ben White, getting a Basuma. Do you know what I mean? These is what I want to see from my club. Instead of getting Odegaard that finished 8th with us last season, instead of getting him when his stats were like 1 assist and 2 goals or something, why not get flipping Renato Sanchez or somebody else that's more proven? Do you know what I mean? And then I'll start to believe. Why not let Nketiah and Lacazette's contracts running down when you promised us that you're not going to let contracts run down anymore? What about that? What about if you're going to do self-sustaining? Why don't we do it better than Leicester? We earn way more money than Leicester. And look at Leicester's squad and look at our squad. Look at West Ham. They don't need a sugar daddy. Look at where West Ham are. And look at where Arsenal are. And we spend more money. This manager's been here. He spent over 200 million. When Chelsea spent money, they didn't get in the top 4, Lampard sacked. Ole spent money. He didn't get in the top 4. Ole sacked. Arteta spent over, I think it's like 250 mil. Oh, trust the process. Let's keep on trusting the process. When we could have got Ancelotti, he went to flipping Everton. We could have got Conte. He's gone to Tottenham. Who else? Back in the day, we held on too long to flipping Arteta. Yeah. And who did we miss? We could have got Klopp. We could have got Pep.
Remember the Klopp room? I remember that time. It was around when you won an FA. I remember that time distinctly. Klopp was available. We got him, but I remember he was linked to Arsenal. I even remember Pep was heavily linked to Arsenal. I don't know what year it was. I think it was when he had just, I remember because the consensus was he'll play good football like Wenger did, whatever. You know what I mean? Because Pep was obviously very highly rated, but he wasn't a top notch world, like absolutely like for me, he's the best manager in the world now, or second best to Klopp. But like back then, he was still seen maybe as a top 5 or whatever because Mourinho was in his prime. Ancelotti was there. There was other lads, but I remember the Pep room is distinctly. But yeah, you didn't act on that. Wenger stayed for another few years. Wenger was fit. Look, we won't get into Wenger because that's
I won't diss Wenger. I think that's an abomination.
That's a different.
Why is that an abomination? That's the man that gave this fan base the reason to say that top 4 is a trophy. Is it a trophy? It's third loser. You don't win anything for being top 4. We got top 4 for 25 years. Where'd that get us? We didn't win the Champions League. We weren't competing for the league. All yous lot were calm saying, we're not going to win. The only ones that didn't want to believe it is Arsenal fans. As much as he done the first half of Wenger, The first 10 years was amazing. The other 10, he got outdone. And
But
this
then
is
they cut his funding, though.
about the stadium. Do you know how much that stadium cost us a year? 20 mil. 20 mil ain't enough. We could have paid that comfortably, but he used it as an excuse. Oh, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. Oh, we can't afford to compete, can't we? How can Leicester afford to compete? How's West Ham affording to compete? You guys are the blueprint. You are the blueprint of how to do it on a self-sustaining budget. You don't let contracts run down. You always get maximum value for your players. Even that Solanke, Solanke or whatever his name was, you
Well,
15 mil, I think.
Yeah, you guys, yeah, your owners aren't sugar daddies giving you all the money that you want. How is Klopp competing then? Because you're run.
I agree.
So all these excuses about Wenger, now bun Wenger, man. Because that guy sent our club backwards. No, he sent our club backwards. He let us think, the people that didn't see leagues, they think, we can't compete. We ain't got the money. How the flip is Liverpool competing?
But see, when you go at it there, like it's, I think it's quite harsh still, because the manager's he's nearly like a spokesperson for a firm. You know, he's the guy who gets seen. He's the guy who does. He gets all the grief nearly. And this has been a deeper issue for Arsenal for years now, and it's clearly been going on in the background. When Wenger's saying, "Oh, we can't afford and stuff," that's because he's been told by his boss, you know, that you can't afford. So he's masking up. He's doing the best PR he can. I think if you'd put any other manager in that spot, then look at that squad. That squad wasn't a top 4 team.
No, I get what you're saying, but then at the end of the day, like, who do you care more about, the Arsenal, the actual club, or do you care about protecting these owners? Because I do agree with that, and the owners are a big problem. I've been focusing a lot on Wenger because you said a point about Wenger.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Conte ain't going nowhere unless he's backed, and if he's not, he picks up the fuss because he knows it's his career on the line.
I was going to mention that
Everyone says about Mourinho, he loves to win so much, he don't care. If they're telling him there's no funds, or he'll kick up a fuss because he's about winning. And that's what you want in our clubs, because let's be real, we can all say, oh, let's play it nice, they got to cover up for the owners. But you want to win, you want to compete. This is a competition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when you're sitting there allowing us, I mean, what other top club in this country have been more patient than Arsenal fans?
No, like, I agree.
True.
And it's even one thing I'd say of Wenger, he wasn't, like, I thought he was top notch, played lovely football, but one thing with Wenger, I remember, like, the famous saying, I don't know who said it, but when you moved to the Emirates from Highbury, it was like, we're going to compete with Europe's elite now. But, like, Arsenal's record in the Champions League is awful. I know he's got to one final, but, like, for how good you were over them years, you should have got at least one Champions League win in there. But, like, he's rarely got to quarters and semi-finals of the Champions League, even in your heyday. And then obviously, as the years went on, it was, I think it was embarrassing for using the Champions League. Like, the 5-1s, the 5-1s to Bayern a few years in a row, losing to, like, Port. You know what I mean? I think, see, this is why I don't get with Arsenal fans. I don't think he's will, but if you's made top 4 this season, let's say you did, all it means is you're going to the Champions League, might get out of your group, might not. But if you do get out of your group, you're getting spanked by.
But if they get top 4, none of that money's going to get spent either. I think that's been a big. Like, you see West Ham. Even West Ham have brought in a few players, like from Russian leagues and CSKA Moscow and teams like that. I can't remember who was it, Vlasic and Kral, I think, and even brought Areola even in on loan and stuff. Like, they depth in the squad. You know, not to the extent where they're going out and they're buying big names. You know, none of them were brought in to sell jerseys. Like, who wants to get a Kral jersey? Who wants to get a Zucek jersey before they start playing good football?
They're bought for the team. They're not.
Yeah.
Like,
but I disagree with that. Who spent the most in the last transfer window? It was Arsenal. We spent 150 mil. We do spend money. I looked up. I heard this the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let me do the research. Let me actually check. We've spent more than you guys. I think we spent $1 more than you guys. You know, we spend a lot, but we don't recoup a lot. The top 3 spenders in this league is Man City, Arsenal, and somebody I can't remember. Chelsea actually recoup more money than they actually spend. I was I wasn't surprised because they got top money.
So many players out on loan as well.
I heard a stat.
Spending money, we spend the most. The problem is we go for dead players. How much? Mustafi was
Ben
cheap.
White.
Xhaka was bought actually more expensive than Kante. How much did we buy Aubameyang? How much did we buy Lacazette? How many other teams play that type of money? How much did we buy Pepe? Do you know what I mean? That's what I told you. This manager's almost spent 300 mil, and look at our team and look at your team, and that's why I'm fuming.
Crazy. I heard. I couldn't believe this when I heard it because I had to look it up after a few weeks ago when we played Hughes. I remember Martin Tyler said on Sky because I was in the pub, but I still heard it, and he said like the Ox came on and he was like still the most money Arsenal have ever recouped for a player. And I kind of listened to that and I couldn't believe that. It was 35, 40 million. The Ox is the most, like, I could not believe that. Like when you sold, I know I couldn't really, I tried to think of someone. Then I thought RVP was only like 25 million or something, which was an absolute bargain for United. Like, I think that summed it up. You never get
that was just after signing the new contract as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Fabregas. How much did you get for Fabregas? I know his money was different back then, but still, he was a world-class player.
We never get top money. Look how much you got for Coutinho. When we had Nasri, Fabregas, we had world-class talent getting pinched by Barcelona and Man City. When did we ever receive, for that time, big money for our players? When?
Yeah, that summed it up for me. When Ox is your most expensive ever player to sell, that was crazy.
That's been their massive problem, and it's been recruitment, and that's why I think you can throw in whatever manager you want. He still needs a good recruitment team, and it's been so poor. It's been like a fucking rookie stock investor, buy everything at the high price.
You see why I'm vexing it?
Yeah. No.
It's tough. It's a lot of stress, man. I can feel you need to get this off your chest, though.
Trust me, we've been the same though. When Liverpool don't spend in January and stuff, it's kind of different when we just don't spend, or what, you know what I mean. When we went through that centre back injury crisis, we didn't spend it. We spent it on a championship player. Like these clubs, like you're so emotionally invested. Like people, you know what I mean. The results, like as we said with the Wolves game, like for example, like it can really make your weekend. It can really, like us for this title now, like I would love this title. I would love another Champions League. But the fact that we actually have a genuine chance of winning this and winning the Champions League, like that's the one thing I'm really positive at, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we should be like, for me, it's us United who's the biggest club in England. You can either way. Like if you said United, I wouldn't say. I'm going to say Liverpool just because I'm a bit biased. But like, we should be winning. We should be winning titles, Champions League. I know it sounds a bit entitled or whatever, but that as fans, there's nothing wrong with that, having like high expectations. Like Arsenal,
you got more Champions Leagues than them.
Yeah, we've got 4 more. They've got 2, I think. They've got 2 or 3. We've got 6.
Both of you have won what, 20, 21 leagues?
They're one ahead, I think. Still.
Yeah.
No, you're a bigger club. You're a bigger club.
I think
in terms of fan base, so I think United have a slightly larger fan base.
I don't care about the fan base, really.
It's only because your dominance was in the 80s before social media and everything.
Yeah.
Their dominance came in the Premier League. That is why. But when you actually look at trophies won, your cabinet.
Yeah, we have more major trophies won.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. We do have more. I remember seeing that in Sky, so I have a picture of that somewhere. Yeah. But like, sure, if you look by social media, Arsenal probably have the most fans, or the loudest fans, anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Because Arsenal fans are obviously the AFTV or whatever, but even just in general, if you look on Twitter, Arsenal is still one of the most talked about clubs, regardless of where you. So like, you're dead right. Like I think top 4 for you should be a minimum. But as I said, just to wrap the show up, the top 4 thing is irrelevant though, because if you get top 4, you will just get knocked into the Europa League, or you just get knocked out in round of 16. You'll get hammered by like a top team or whatever. That's why, like. That's why for me you need to build up a proper squad, like the challenge for a title, and then automatically you should finish in top 4. Then you could somewhat compete in the Champions League, because for me Arsenal are a Europa League quality team just at the minute. That's how I see it, anyways. For me, like if Liverpool were in the Champions League, but I thought we had no chance of winning it, I wouldn't really. The games would kind of be irrelevant, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think even when we were when we were in I can't speak, but when we were in Europa, right, and we were finishing 6, 7 in the league, I still would have died for a top 4 finish, even though I know we wouldn't have been able to compete.
I get that, but I kind
I
of
still
prefer
wanna die for one.
the Europa League runs because you're kind of thinking we have a genuine, really good chance of winning another
Still.
European trophy. But I get what you're saying both ways. But
You see your problems and my problems. It's just not the same. My problems
Yeah.
is about actually competing. Your problems is like, okay, we're definitely gonna win because we're in this title race. Well, I ain't had that feeling since 2004.
yeah, that like. You know the feeling, Peter, like me watching that Chelsea game yesterday, properly roaring on West Ham because like Chelsea, you know what I mean, properly roaring on Watford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, because like the result really means something. If they drop points, it's big because the quality is so high, or like the race will be so tight. That's what I mean. Like I remember doing that, and I know Arsenal fans will say we're doing that in the top 4 race, but for me, I think Tottenham will actually finish ahead of Arsenal as well, purely because of Antonio Conte. I don't think their team is special or anything. I just rate Conte so high as a top manager. I think they're 3 wins out of 4. They have a game in hand. I think they're nearly ahead of you or level on points. So
I think rumor was though Arsenal fans were rooting for Burnley, to beat Newcastle last time.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That slant is a bit too much. Like, but Roy Keane, yeah, we've just hit the hour mark there, but we'll wrap it up there. That was a quality show. Northside, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks.
Life is tough as an Arsenal fan these days, but
we thought we'd express it to the people.
Good to let you chat some general ball, not just about Arsenal, not to get too stressed or whatever. But we will in our Insta and our Twitter, we'll link Northside's page. Go subscribe to it. As you see, man knows his football. So yeah, go subscribe to that. Chat's all things goodness on that. We'll probably have a Spotify Thursday, I would say, Peter. Hopefully,
I'd say League. Thursday can probably do.
Thursday's kind of been the Spotify day, but we appreciate you watching, and we'll chat to you next time.